scientists were astonished to discover a deadly pigment within the tree's trunk. Welcome everyone to the latest episode of Top Secret. Some things in this world are so unbelievable they're downright suspicious, making it impossible for you to believe them even if you wanted to. These things cannot be explained by science, even spirituality is at a loss. Video content? An unbelievable story that, which day would you like to explore the secret together? Since everyone has their own passion, their interests also vary. Some enjoy playing soccer, while others are fond of solving word puzzles. But for some, the thrill of the treasure hunt itself is the real passion. Mike Smith is also among those people. Like most amateur treasure hunters, after many years, he only managed to gather a few coins and some odds and ends. And none of the dishes were truly worth it. But everything would completely change when he stumbled upon something that led to the greatest discovery of his life. Mike Smith started metal detecting at the age of 12, after receiving his first metal detector from his father as a Christmas gift in 1977. He was born and raised in South Pembrokeshire, Wales, where he often spent his childhood days wandering and exploring the vast countryside. As he grew older, he realized that perhaps he couldn't live a stable life based solely on personal interests. But his love for nature and unwavering passion continued to fuel his drive. He still quietly hoped that one day, he would find something truly meaningful. After years of searching with little to show for it, Mike has now turned 45. I didn't have any special expectations when I decided to take out the metal detector to try my luck. On a rainy February afternoon in 2018. That day, the bad weather forced him to change his original route and turn into an untouched wild field. Stepping across the damp grass, Mike suddenly heard the familiar beep from his metal detector. And you know, maybe I found something. He felt a familiar surge of excitement as he decided to expand the search radius around this area. You may notice that as you move away from a suspicious object, the metal detector's sound gradually fades. But as Mike moved away from where he first heard the beep, something strange suddenly happened. He heard the beep again, this time even louder than before. After testing the metal detector to ensure the device operates stably, here are the translations for both versions. After identifying the spot where the metal detector beeped the loudest, the machine grabbed the shovel and began digging through the damp soil. Just a few minutes later, he had dug a hole about 30 centimeters wide and over 60 centimeters deep. At this moment, I started to feel a small metal object inside. He gently took it out of the hole. At first, he thought it might just be an old forgotten coin or a hairpin from medieval times. But after brushing off the layer of dirt with his hand, he realized the object was green in color and delicately adorned with subtle red patterns, exuding a unique air of mystery. As he was engrossed in examining the object, turning it over in his hands, he suddenly noticed something glimmering hidden beneath the layer of dirt on its surface. Unlike the first metal machine, this object looks a bit more stuck. Be careful not to ruin your new discovery. Mai set the tray down on the ground, knelt, and began digging with her hands. Finally, he realized the object looked exactly like a giant metal ring. Even stranger, it was connected to something else right beneath it. But what is it connected to? When Mai cleared the ground around it, no matter how hard she tried to pull, push, or dig, she couldn't lift the chain. He glanced around and suddenly realized the sun was slowly fading from sight. Mai quickly packed her things and promised to return the next morning. The long night passed, thoughts swirling endlessly in his mind. I once read about ancient catacombs deep beneath the ground in Pembrokeshire and couldn't help but wonder. I don't know if I accidentally discovered something terrifying or not. As the first light of dawn appeared, Mai turned around and put on the sports outfit he had forgotten the day before. He began digging around the area where he had just discovered the chain links, and shortly after, he discovered a few more strange metal fragments that had been dug up. There was an object that looked like a piece of a large ring. Perhaps before, it had been hooked to the end of a chain. After wiping off the layer of dirt, Mike discovered that the object had very similar patterned lines. Like the first object you found. As a history enthusiast, you know full well that these artifacts must be of immense value. So, he decided it was time to share his discovery with someone. Mike contacted the Wales Mobile Testing Program, and shortly after, that anonymous field was swiftly cordoned off. These archaeologists were trained by the National Museum of Wales and the Dyfed Archaeological Trust. After that, Mike invited me to join him in supporting a larger-scale excavation in June. 4 months since his first discovery. As the work progressed, it soon became clear that Mike would uncover pieces of a much larger puzzle. In reality, during the survey, the archaeological team discovered and excavated at least 9 ancient artifacts. These pieces vary in shape and size. Each piece is adorned with unique and distinctive patterns and carvings. The part of the chain that Mike struggled to excavate was actually just a small fragment. There is something far greater. After being successfully removed, they appeared to have been cut off from some object. But is that thing still buried deep underground? Now, what they need to do is uncover the meaning behind all of this by applying existing professional knowledge. At the same time, compare the shapes and decorative patterns among the artifacts. Archaeologists across England have determined that these artifacts were most likely manufactured products between approximately 25 and 75 AD, during the Late Iron Age period. More than 2,000 years have passed since that time. This period is considered extremely important, just as its name suggests, because it marks the emergence of iron smelting technology. Historians have also confirmed that some of these ancient artifacts were intricately carved, with patterns featuring the Celtic art style, also known as Latine art. To create these patterns, red glass is melted and then blown with a lamp. The pre-grooved patterns on the copper surface will help create prominent and dynamic flowing designs. Ceramic glaze is used to coat antiques, creating their distinctive green color. According to experts, this is the first time a collection of artifacts decorated in Celtic artistic style has been discovered in the Pembrokeshire area. But what are they really? This collection consists of fragments from a buried ancient Celtic chariot. As Mike had suspected all along, the Celts were an ancient people who once lived across much of Europe. From the 2nd millennium BCE to the 1st century BCE, the Celtic chariot was not only a combat vehicle but also used in important rituals. It typically symbolizes the power and identity of the owner as well as the tribal community during the Iron Age. The first thing Mike dug up turned out to be part of a horse's saddle. The ring-shaped object could be a large turret ring or a guiding rein. This ring is attached to the harness and serves to guide the reins from the rider's hands through the rings of restraint and to the bit to keep them from straying off course. Subsequent findings included fragments of a large-sized horse stirrup along with a set of accessories belonging to a saddle. And the fragments of the tin jaw may have once been connected to the links. These crucial pieces were originally connecting parts, forming a complete horse-drawn carriage in the past. And the accompanying leather harness set for the pair of small horses, meticulously crafted to be uniform and well-fitted. Perhaps these fragments of the horse-drawn carriage once witnessed many momentous historical events. During the Iron Age, the people steadfastly defended their way of life against the expansion of the Lamap regime. From around the year 1943 AD, they began invading the lands belonging to England and Suals. Following a preliminary investigation in June 2018, the subsequent excavation, funded by the National Museum of Wales, was conducted in March and April 2019. During these excavations, the archaeologists' hypothesis was proven correct when they uncovered the top portion of a pair of the horse-drawn carriage wheel was discovered, proving that Mike's find was just the beginning of a treasure trove of vintage cars. These two iron rings were once used to encase the wooden wheels of horse-drawn carriages in ancient times. This is the first recorded evidence of an ancient horse-drawn carriage. The artifacts from this horse-drawn carriage were likely once the possessions of a high-ranking man or woman in the tribe or community of that time. This conjecture was further strengthened by the discovery of an iron sword nearby. It may have been placed on or near the burial site of the person who accompanied the chariot. In reality, during the Iron Age, high-ranking leaders were often buried alongside horse-drawn chariots. Horses, saddles, and weapons are all quite familiar things. With his diligence and sharp mind, Mike Smith can now hope to receive a generous bonus thanks to his discovery, which he declared to be the biggest ever in his journey of searching and categorizing. In fact, in January 2019, a survey conducted in Milford Haven, Mike's hometown, revealed the following results. This amateur hunter could earn a massive sum of up to $1.3 million. After his history was officially verified, it was declared a treasure. According to legal regulations, this payment must be split equally 50-50 between both parties, the tenant and the landlord. Mike was forced to sell all 34 artifacts to a museum. Of course, the National Museum of Wales is the top priority, and we hope to acquire these valuable artifacts so they can be properly preserved. Currently, the exact location of the discovery remains confidential to facilitate research efforts. To prepare for an upcoming large-scale excavation, ground-penetrating radar has uncovered a system of ditches and buried walls beneath the field. The suggestion is that Mike may have even stumbled upon the whole truth by accident. A Celtic settlement lay buried and unexplored for thousands of years. Of course, Mike retains the right to announce any future findings in this area. And he could hardly believe that his childhood dream had come true. In an utterly unexpected way. What a lucky accidental discovery. Mike Smith's Celtic coin collection is perhaps one of a kind in the world. But every year, archaeological discoveries continue to be recorded worldwide. And one of them is so bizarre it'll make your jaw drop in amazement. From wondrous and extraordinary things to those that send shivers down our spines. Let's explore the strangest archaeological discoveries ever found. In March 2017, archaeologists in Switzerland made a groundbreaking discovery. In the first place, I never expected. During the renovation of the Kahn School complex in Alsace, a district of Zurich city, they inadvertently disturbed the final resting place of an ancient, long-dead creature. Hidden in plain sight, inside the tree trunk. This unusual coffin was crafted from a hollowed-out tree trunk, with the outer bark left intact. After being carefully preserved, the remains were removed from the scene and sent for analysis. Researchers determined that this object once belonged to a Celtic woman who lived during the Iron Age. Lived around 2,200 years ago. Although many still believe that the Celts originated in England. But they actually lived across the entire European continent, extending as far as the region that is now Turkey. But why did that woman have to meet such a tragic end? Surprisingly, this was actually a fairly common practice among the Iron Age Celtic communities. In Central and Northern Europe, ancient people often buried their tribe members in coffins made from hollowed-out tree trunks. The deceased will be adorned with jewelry and offerings, then laid to rest within a hollowed-out tree trunk buried underground. Like the modern coffin, isotope analysis of this woman's remains indicates she was a native. About 40 years old at the time of death, this person likely lived and grew up in the Limmat Valley. She rarely does manual labor and often spends her time enjoying starchy foods and sweets. Doesn't it sound like such a lavish, glamorous life? She wore an incredibly elegant outfit, consisting of a warm cashmere sweater, topped with a sheepskin coat and draped with a stylish scarf. Additionally, she was buried with numerous grave goods, including a bead necklace made of amber and glass. A bronze bracelet paired with an intricately crafted bronze belt, adorned with elegant pendants. This shows that she likely received immense respect from her own tribe. The second set of her remains was also found about 80 meters from the tomb of another monk. Both were discovered in 1903, when the school was building a gymnasium. This man was also buried with similar decorations, along with a sword, a shield, and a spear. These two were buried in the same decade, around 200 BCE, so it's likely they knew each other. Has anyone ever suddenly felt afraid for no reason when thinking about being trapped inside a tree trunk? The secret report begins by noting that this strange object is preserved so perfectly that it was once regarded as a treasure of the royal family. Right, but not the usual amber-colored kind. It was the type dating back to the 9th century, when the region of present-day York in England was under the rule of Viking warriors from Norway. This fossilized feces, scientifically known as coprolite, was discovered in 1972 in the city of York, buried deep beneath the foundation of a local bank from that era. Hence, it was named Lloyd's Bank coprolite. The paleontologists, known as paleocartologists, have determined that the owner of this fossil died a very long time ago. This nearly 18 centimeters long brown fish has a diverse diet consisting of vegetables, meat, and bread. Unfortunately, this person also has some digestive issues. Upon thorough examination, experts discovered eggs from two types of worms in the stool, roundworms and hookworms. Both cause stomach pain and other digestive symptoms. Today, you can admire fossilized feces, coprolite, displayed in a glass case at the exhibition area of the Jorvik Viking Center in York. Luckily, it's been fixed. But I have to wonder, who in their right mind would want to pick up Viking poop in the first place? The strange egg. During an excavation in the town of Elstbury, in Buckinghamshire County. From 2007 to 2016, archaeologists made an intriguing discovery in a flooded pit. The ordinary kind Lama. When the archaeological team tried to remove the eggs from the pit, an unexpected incident occurred. 3 out of the 4 eggs were broken, emitting a terrible stench that was unbearable. Have you ever imagined what an egg from ancient times might smell like? Fortunately, the research team managed to preserve the 4th egg in time when it became the only intact fossilized dinosaur egg ever discovered in the UK. Previously, chicken bones and broken eggshells had been discovered in ancient leaf-lined graves in England, but never a fully intact egg. The fortunate discovery of this could only have happened due to the unique environmental conditions where it was found. In a waterlogged pit that has been submerged for thousands of years, objects can remain perfectly preserved, even if they would not survive in dry conditions. Experts from Oxford Astrology determined that this pit was used for brewing beer around the 2nd to 3rd century AD, before becoming a distinct form of prayer among the Romans by the end of the 3rd century. The eggs were discovered along with a loaf of bread, a thick hide, and several other wooden tools. This may be a food offering made specifically in hopes of receiving favor from the deities. Is anyone else curious to know if this ancient egg tastes as bad as it smells? Stealing hearts. In 2012, a daring thief stole a peculiar object from Christ Church in Dublin. That is a carefully preserved heart, blessed by a saint from the 12th century. Saint Lawrence O'Toole is placed in a wooden heart-shaped casket, encased in a protective iron frame. And it has been displayed on the church wall since the Middle Ages. This looks like some kind of bizarre and creepy interior decoration. But in reality, the remaining relics of saints are a common feature. Many churches in Israel commemorate Saint Lawrence O'Toole, who died in Normandy, France in 1180. And he was canonized in 1225 due to miracles believed to have occurred at his tomb. But from Friday evening, the 2nd, to Saturday morning, January 3, 2012, the thieves broke into the church and stole this precious relic. Church officials suspect that the thief may have secretly stayed in the building overnight. And perhaps they used metal pliers to pry open the protective bars shielding the heart. This theft is strange because a heart holds no material value. Meanwhile, the golden chalices and precious golden candlesticks in the church were left forgotten. Even stranger, the thief lit 2-piece candles on the altar, where the 3 statues were placed before leaving the building. When the church officials had just managed to regain their composure after the initial shock. Another unexpected discovery occurred in April 2018. Following an investigation based on intelligence sources, the Israeli police discovered the heart of a saint in Phoenix Park in Dublin. After a year of being forbidden by the church, it's unfortunate that no one was arrested despite fingerprint checks being conducted and conduct forensic examination on the collected evidence. However, that heart was finally returned to its rightful owner in Israel. Perhaps we will never fully comprehend all that 800-year-old heart endured through those 6 interminable years. But I like to imagine it went on a wondrous journey through landscapes of all 4 seasons. Bottle of anti-edema medication. It's not uncommon for interesting discoveries to be made during the renovation of old buildings. Though it has existed for centuries, this small shop in Northamptonshire still retains its enchanting beauty. In October 2019, he was deeply shocked to discover something utterly horrifying. The contractors are demolishing the chimney of Dew's restaurant. Previously known as the Star Encounter Inn, this place was where they discovered a strange object trapped inside. It was a small glass bottle, shaped like a torpedo. But inside lay a bizarre collection, including fishhooks, human teeth, shards of glass, and an unidentified liquid. Perhaps this isn't urine, but rather seems like some kind of mysterious dark magic potion. In reality, these magical bottles were actually a type of anti-witchcraft medicine used since the 19th century. The torpedo-shaped glass bottle first appeared around 1830, primarily used for holding carbonated beverages. But sometimes they carry a completely different meaning. According to experts studying counter-witchcraft artifacts at the London Museum of Archaeology, these glass or stone bottles are believed to have once been used as protective talismans, or used as a container for witch-repelling medicine. Over 100 artifacts have been excavated from the foundations of ancient architectural structures, at archaeological sites, within church grounds, or along riverbanks. But why would a bottle appear in the chimney of a small pub in England? The Toop Witch. Saratoga was officially born at this tavern in 1761. To this day, Tup remains a captivating stop on the eerie tours of Saratoga Springs, New York. She moved to this place at the age of 15 with the purpose of getting her fortune told. You'll notice this tavern carries a deep wizarding history. It's no surprise that an artifact against evil was found in that very place. At least now, the witches in England have understood that they are not allowed to serve at this pub.